Hey guys, what's going on? This is Sztanyo from We Buy NKY Houses.com, and we buy houses fast for cash in Northern Kentucky and the Cincinnati area. And in this video, I want to talk to you about this concept of, can I buy these We Buy houses, or can I trust these We Buy houses companies? There's a lot of them out there, and you know, if you're selling your house fast for whatever reason, so let's say you're trying to avoid foreclosure, maybe there's too many repairs, you don't feel like you can list it with a real estate agent, maybe you've got a job in a different city and you're relocating and you just need to sell it fast, maybe you've inherited a house, maybe you're an out-of-town landlord and you just don't want to deal with the house anymore. Whatever the reason, you've kind of looked online and you realize, okay, there's a bunch of these companies. How do I know what they're going to do what they say? Because they all kind of look alike. They all say they're going to close quickly. They all say that they're going to bring cash to the table. Can I trust them? And how do I know who should I trust? So I want to tell a quick story about our company. By the way, I'm out and about a little bit today, so I'm not in the recording studio. You might see the baby bassinet in the back. I'm actually picking that up for my wife today because we have our fourth baby on the way. But back to the point. The question is, can I trust these companies? Well, so we had a customer come to us a few weeks ago, and they had a few houses. They called us up and said, hey, we've got a couple of houses we want to sell to you. We were like, great. And they said, we're going to sell them. We're not asking much for them because they're in pretty bad shape. And we thought, even better, as someone who buys houses for cash, that's something we want to hear. But they were very honest with us, and they said, look, they're in bad shape. One of them hasn't had windows for a year. One of them is actually condemned by the city. So, we're asking this much. Let us know what you can do. So we said, okay. So we went and checked them out. And the truth is they were in really bad shape. Worse probably than what we imagined. And because of where they were at in the area, they weren't going to fetch, no matter what we did to those houses in terms of rehabbing them and trying to sell them to a buyer, we would be upside down the minute we bought them, no matter what we bought them for. If they said, we'll sell these to you for $1, we would say no, because the amount of work that had to be done, there was also work that had to be done from a city code standpoint. There were a few things that needed to be reworked that were also costly. And in terms of what we could resell those properties for, the numbers just didn't make sense. And so here's the first kind of lesson on, can I trust these companies or not? The first one is, a company should be willing to tell you, no, we can't buy your house. The numbers need to make sense, and in this case, they don't. And so if you're working for us, for example, we're going to share those numbers with you. In fact, I'll give you just an example right now. If we're going to buy your house from you for cash, that number needs to make sense for you. You need to get out of it either to pay off your mortgage or whatever amount you need with hopefully some cash extra in your pocket. That needs to make sense for you. If it doesn't, we don't have a deal, right? Because it has to work for you, but it also has to work for us. So we have to add up our expenses, which are going to be, the buying costs, the closing costs. It's going to be the rehab of the house itself. The holding costs of the house while we're rehabbing, so insurance, utilities, things like that. And then we need to make a profit. I mean, we are in business for profit. We're not afraid to say that. I think most people, pretty much everyone we talk to when we're buying their houses, they get that. They understand we're in business and we're not a charity. And now we're not going to make an outrageous profit, but we need to make a profit that makes sense for us too. And then potentially, if we're not going to do the rehab ourselves, we might give that property to another investor or sell it to them, and they need to make a profit too. So there's got to be room for all of that. Now, if all of that makes sense and the number makes sense for you, then we have an offer that works. To be quite honest, it doesn't happen all the time. And we'll work through and we'll say, here's the number we can do. If that works for you, awesome, we're going to sell your house. So can you trust a company or not? Number one, they should be able to walk through that with you. If they're not, and they're withholding kind of all their numbers and how they're getting to where they're getting, that's kind of a red flag, in our opinion, of if you can trust this company or not. So going back to our situation, unfortunately, the seller was a little bummed because they're like, well, what do I do with these properties now? If a cash buyer comes in and says they can't even buy it and make a profit, I probably can't sell it retail, you know. And they had a broker come in, and the broker's like, you know, you're gonna have a really hard time finding a buyer for this. So they were kind of stuck, and they were thinking, what can we do? So here's the next thing I would say on can you trust a company or not. We came back to the seller and said, look, we can't buy it, but we have a suggestion for you, because we want to help you regardless of if we're going to buy your house or not. And that's something I think you should look for with these companies. So our suggestion was, we think you should donate these houses. Either call up the city and see what they will do with them, or you know, call a charity and see if the charity will take them for you. So 3 benefits right off the bat if you're going to donate a house. 1, you stop paying property taxes right away, so you're cutting down your expenses on paying the property taxes. 2, you're probably, if you do it right, going to get a tax write-off. So you donate the property for whatever the value it is, you're going to receive that write-off off your taxes next year. That's a financial benefit. And 3, there's just peace of mind. You don't have to worry about handling these properties. They're not weighing on you. What am I going to do with them? And that's just kind of a constant weight, a constant drip that when you're trying to sell a property you don't want anymore or need to get out of, that's heavier than most people realize. And if you're trying to sell your house and you're weighing through these companies, you know that weight, that there's a burden that comes with that. So this customer, they're like, that's a really good idea. A couple weeks later, they called us back and said, we talked to the city, and we're in the process of donating. We're super happy. We thought that was a great idea. They were really thrilled. So, you know, the point here is, when you're looking for companies can you trust, are they, you know, do they seem like someone you can trust? Are they full of integrity? Are they going to hide things from you, or are they going to be able to show you the numbers on what your offer is? 4, are they going to help you regardless of if they're going to buy your property or not? Do they genuinely have your best interest in mind? So that's another thing we would say to look for when it comes to can I trust the company or not. The 5th one I would say is like, is their face out there? And so we're starting to do some videos, you know, we're just kind of getting our website up and going. But if a company is like afraid to put their face out there, like, are they hiding other things? So we want to say, like, look guys, here's who we are. We're a local company. Here's my family. I'm buying a bassinet, right? And because I grew up in Northern Kentucky, so did my wife, and we cared really deeply about the community. We spent a lot of hours, hundreds, probably thousands of hours, giving back to our community in different ways and serving in different ministry opportunities. And we care genuinely about people. And so if you get a feeling like this company just cares about profit and that's it, I mean, hey, you can sell your cash is cash, right? I mean, you could sell your house to that, but you just need to be careful of if that company's going to do what they say they're going to do, and would I recommend this company to someone else, right? I think that's another question is, hey, I've enjoyed this process. This person answers my phone calls, they respond to my emails, and I would refer them to somebody else in this situation. I would leave a strong review for this person because I feel like I can trust this company. So this video is getting a little long-winded. I'll wrap it up. But in terms of our company, we're going to try to do what's best for you regardless of if we're going to buy your house or not. In some situations, that even might mean we're going to recommend you to a real estate agent. Say, hey, you know what? I think you can get more for your house if you list it retail. And we've got some relationships with local real estate agents that are fantastic, and say, look, you know, if you're willing to wait a little bit longer, do a little bit work, take some photos, you know, maybe handle a few of the other expenses that come with listing with a real estate agent, be willing to show your house, you might be able to get a higher dollar amount out of your house. And if that's the situation, we're going to recommend you do that as well. So we're not afraid to do that either. It's got to make sense. And if you're feeling any pressure from a company, you know, that's probably a red flag, and you might want to walk away and work with somebody else. So no matter what city you're in, we're in the Cincinnati. We do most of our business in Northern Kentucky. So Florence, Fort Thomas, Fort Wright, Covington, Newport, Burlington, Hebron, Independence, all over Northern Kentucky is where we do most of our business. But if you're watching this, no matter what city you're in, hopefully these tips helped you guys. If it did, you know, give us a like, give us a thumbs up, leave a comment. Love to hear what other thoughts you have in terms of can I trust We Buy Houses companies or not. All right, guys, thanks a lot. Have a great day.